You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now, TSPN News with Tom Slavik. Comprehensive news because in today's world, you need more than just sound bites. TSPN, streaming on the World Wide Web, and now on demand at tspntv.com. Hi everyone, and welcome to TSPN's News for today, and it's Memorial Day, but it's a Monday, and I want to commend you, Richard Forster. You always show up, and you always come down and tell us about the supervisor's meeting that's going to happen tomorrow. And if you're not here, you usually make sure that there's a supervisor that gives us a heads up on what's going to go on. So
most of the time,
I
let your wife down last week.
No, that wasn't for this. That was for just AM Live. But
well, I look at this as part of the responsibility of the job, either myself or other supervisors, just so the public know what's going on. They can access everything on the county website, right, but they can also access it here at TSPN. So that's just another avenue.
Right.
We have a long meeting coming up.
Oh, okay.
So first item up is building permit fee waiver or reduction request from the Nguyen family, Con and Jennifer. And this is a little bit confusing what's happened here, and they're out in Willow Creek Estates, it looks like. But what they've done is they put in applications to build a house, and then they decided to also build an addition on the house, which is essentially a second home for their parents.
Okay.
The parents travel most of the time in an RV, which they consider their primary residence. But
so what state did they vote in?
Yeah, the problem is this wasn't brought up until after they submitted their building plans, and then they want to build I'm calling it an addition. Basically, it's considered a new structure because it's over 1,000 feet and over 1,000 square feet. The problem is the fees on it are $14,450. So they didn't realize that. That's complicating their financing plan, so they're asking for a waiver on those fees. I just don't know what the board's going to do on that. Part of it is people doing their due diligence and knowing what to expect when they're going to build, and whether you do it with the low-density building or whether you do it traditional, you should know what you're going to build and what your fees are going to be before that.
So is that going to be attached dwelling or anything like that? Is it separate? I guess where I'm coming from is, you could build, say, a mother-in-law home or something like that, but it needs to be, I believe, attached. I'm probably just complicating it as it goes along, but I was just curious.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the taxes at this time, but it's considered a separate dwelling, and therefore it has separate fees attached to it.
All right.
So we'll see what the board's going to do with that. We have should be a quick item, an update to our description of our Health and Human Services Agency Director position. This is the director of the Health and Human Services Agency, and basically Jim Foley and Chuck Eiley have gone through his job description, and part of it's for future too, when Mr. Foley decides to retire someday. Hopefully it's not for a while, but when he decides to go, we want a description of what he does that is up to date, and there's quite a few add-ons to his job description of things that were not included in the previous job description. So the board's just being asked to approve that. We go back to Pine Grove and Pine Grove Town Hall.
Right.
The General Services Administration staff, John Hopkins, were given marching orders, find out on these separate items what's going on. One was to research the original Prop 40 grant and the standards there and the guidelines and what it binds the county to. Looks like it binds the county to 2032. I am fine with that because we just need to know how to operate that building. The grant did some amazing things to that building, updated it. It still does not have adequate parking. They were asked to contact the Brooks family. They have designated Cyril Toma as their as the person, and Hazel Brooks and Cyril Toma, her brother, were the people that replied saying that, no, we have no interest in selling. We have a good renter at this time. The other was the signage on the property. We need to get some updated signage. Apparently it's missing some language, missing the name of the towing company, so that needs to be done. There's only 2 signs there. That's a $50 a sign. And then the question was put to Craig Berman, the president of the Civic Improvement Club, as to the yoga, and could you only have yoga classes at night? Mr. Berman replied, and I happen to agree with him, the yoga classes do not seem to be the problem. With all of the responses that have come in, the yoga instructor is very insistent with her people that attend the classes do not park there. So they feel it's more of an issue with people that go into the library. So the other was Supervisor Boitano and Morgan were asked to meet at the site, look at some possibilities for moving curbs, working with Amador Transit. At this time, Amador Transit has not replied to requests. So we're still in the discovery mode on this one, it looks like.
Okay.
But I don't know what to tell the Novaki family. It appears it might be more the library, definitely, than the yoga. So we'll just have to keep working on the issue and try and get it resolved so that their complaints lessen.
Right. And that's basically the complaints are the parking.
That's
in
right.
that area. It's okay.
That's
now
right,
we're,
because
now we're going on for the businesses.
Yeah, there is no
Taking
designated
spots
parking
somehow.
there, but I think parking is an issue overall for the Novakis with the businesses they have going on there. Obviously, we don't want to complicate their family situation with their property there, so we're going to try and work it out. Next up, we're going to stay up in Pioneer Park, upcountry. There's been some significant vandalism to the park. I think we ought to find these little hooligans that are doing this, because I think it's basically juvenile delinquents that are up there that aren't being supervised properly by their family and causing some pretty significant damage. It doesn't sound like much, but they're trying to break into the buildings. In the process, they're causing significant damage to the doors, the locks, any other way they think they can get into the building. The drinking fountains, people driving over the septic system. A tree looks like it's been pretty severely damaged up there. The bicycle or the basketball hoop, the actual pipe has been pulled over and bent. So it doesn't sound like much, but these are things that I think are ongoing maintenance. The county is going to have to find a way to budget some money so that this maintenance can occur, because once you start letting the vandalism just keep going.
That broken window.
Yeah,
effect.
kids feel more like if they look at a place that's being torn apart, yeah, we can continue to tear it apart instead of upkeeping it. So we're going to have to try and deal with the situation, otherwise it's just going to get worse.
Maybe you can somehow get some game cameras on that.
Cameras might help. They did for Accra at Molly Joyce Park. They actually identified the 3 teens that did about $30,000 worth of damage up there to pipes and electrical system, and the families had to repay that money. That's a good way for those juvenile delinquents to be put in their place. Now, it could be some adults, too, that have nothing to do, but let's face it, most of the time it's people are kids that have too much time on their hands and nothing to occupy them.
All right. Too much time and lack of respect, Richard.
Very much a
lot
lack of
people
respect.
have too much time on their hands, so don't do that.
Right, especially when Prop 40 funds were used at a lot of these structures
Right.
and facilities to bring them up so that people can enjoy the site. Instead of getting a basketball and playing hoop, instead you have to tear the hoop apart.
Right.
Again, we're back to the Rab Collins property. This is the estate that was donated to the county. I think next time somebody wants to donate an estate to the county, we're going to tell them to please liquidate it and donate the money. That's a better way to do it. Donate the money to the Historical Society or to the museum, because this has netted the county $34,120, and then an additional public purchase sale of local items, another $5,000, so about $40,000. The problem is the cost to this point You have the appraisal cost, $3,000. I'm just going to give you the big cost. Attorney fees are $30,423.
Oh my gosh.
Our county council's time is over $10,000, which the board has indicated will absorb county council and general services time, because that's just the cost of doing business. So, it's almost going to be a push, or the county may even be losing
Just
money.
a lot of man hours.
That's right. And the big part here was that the attorney fees of over $30,000 was because the executor of the estate claimed that he had ownership rights of a piece of property and other things within the estate, and the county had to go in. And anytime you do that, anytime you get attorneys involved, your costs are going to go sky high, and that's the last thing we want. But anyway, most of the estate has been liquidated, has been sold, and there are a couple items left that are just not selling online, so we're probably going to reduce those values. They're recommending 25% reduction, and I would imagine we'll take that up. But I think the board will look rather unfavorably at future donations of estates.
Okay.
We have, again, back to Pioneer Park. We're dealing with the issue up there of the septic system that is failing on the Scout Hut. Sierra Baptist Church has been involved, and Robert Meeson asked if possibly they could come in and help do some work in exchange for use of some of these facilities. I don't personally have a problem with that. It looks like we're going to attach the Scout Hut to the
Richard, we have just
snack shack.
looks like about 20 seconds to break, so
Okay.
maybe we'll come back and touch on that, the Scout Hut and the septic tank at that up at Pioneer Park. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. You're watching Amador County's local television network,